Have you ever felt like your life is constantly slipping into disorder? Tasks pile up. Your thoughts are all over the place. Your relationships feel tense, and time keeps slipping through your fingers. You've tried to plan. You've tried to change. But one small disruption, and everything collapses again. What's really going on here? The problem isn't just around you. It's within you. The clutter outside reflects a deeper chaos inside, a mind pulled in every direction, a life reacting instead of leading. But clarity and order don't come on their own. The Stoics didn't wait for order to appear. They built it through reason, through discipline, through daily decisions aligned with their highest values. Order isn't just about cleaning up your space or fixing your schedule. It's about aligning your actions with who you truly want to be. Not the person others expect, but the one guided by clarity, by principle, by inner strength. In this video, we'll explore how to force yourself, not through harshness, but through responsibility, to bring order back into your life. Not surface order, but the kind that starts from within and holds steady no matter what happens outside. Are you ready to stop reacting and start choosing? Number 1. See the chaos. Life without reason. Imagine sitting in a cluttered room. Papers are piled high on the desk. Thoughts swarm in your head like a hive just broken open. The phone rings, messages ping, deadlines loom. You try to focus, to find some quiet. But the harder you try, the more scattered you feel. You're not really living, you're just reacting. You work because you have to. You reply because you must. You're being pulled by the world around you instead of steering your own course. And then the question hits you: what's really guiding my life? The Stoics believed that chaos doesn't begin in the world outside, but within us, when we abandon our most natural tool, logos, our reason. But to them, logos isn't cold calculation or mere logic. It's the compass of life. It's the force that brings order to your thoughts, direction to your actions, and mastery over your inner world. More than that, logos is the blueprint of the universe itself. The Stoics saw the world as a vast, intelligent system, and we are not separate from it. We're part of it. So when you live by logos, you don't just bring clarity to your personal life, you begin to move in harmony with the very rhythm of existence. Think of life as a mighty river. Logos is the current. You are the swimmer. You can thrash and fight against the flow, but it will only wear you down and pull you under. Or you can learn to move with it, to use its strength to go farther, faster, calmer. The river won't stop for you. It flows whether you're ready or not. The only real question is, will you move with it, willingly and wisely, or let it drag you, exhausted and resentful? If you look closely, you'll see that the absence of reason isn't rare. It happens every day, in the smallest habits. When you get angry over a comment online, when you scroll endlessly, knowing you're wasting time, but can't stop. When jealousy flares up at a co-worker's success, it can be motivating for self-improvement. When you delay a tough decision again and again, it's simply because fear holds you back. These aren't just quirks. They're signs that emotion is in charge, not reason. Chaos doesn't always come crashing in. Sometimes it just seeps quietly into your life until you're lost before you even notice. I once knew a man who seemed successful on the surface, steady job, good income, and respected by friends. But his personal life was a mess. He jumped from one relationship to the next, each ending in arguments and heartbreak. He often said, "Maybe I'm just not meant to be happy. Maybe that's my fate." But the cause was obvious. He let emotion drive everything. A delayed text would send him into a spiral of anger. A careless word from a partner sparked suspicion. Every reaction was impulsive, unexamined, and so the cycle of chaos repeated. Only when he learned to pause and ask himself, "Is this reasonable? Is this anger necessary? Am I acting from fear or from clarity?" did things begin to change. Order started with a simple moment, the decision to stop and let reason speak. This is the path the Stoics chose. They didn't reject emotion, but they refused to let it lead. They trained their reason like a muscle. Through journaling to examine their judgments, through separating what they could control from what they couldn't, through pausing before reacting, through measuring every action against virtue. When you ask yourself, "Does this make sense?" or "What would Marcus Aurelius do in this moment?" you take a small but powerful step toward mastering logos. Just like a body needs daily exercise to stay strong, reason needs constant training to stay sharp. Picture reason as the driver of a car. If the driver falls asleep, the car veers off course. You can blame the road, the weather, the traffic, but the truth is, the wheel was left unattended. If the driver is alert, even a winding road can be navigated. Logos is that driver. It doesn't remove every obstacle, but it gives you the power to stay the course. And here's what you must remember. Without logos, every goal you set, every plan you make, is just a sandcastle. It may look impressive on paper, but one unexpected wave of emotion, anger, fear, or laziness, and it all collapses. You can build habits, make to-do lists, set big dreams, but if in the key moment you let emotion choose for you, it all falls apart. The only reason is that it can give you a solid foundation to build a life that lasts. So the first step to reclaiming your life is learning to see the chaos and naming it. You are living without reason. This isn't an accusation, it's an invitation. An invitation to wake up, to grab the wheel again. The question is, are you ready to let reason lead? And if your answer is yes, then know this: the journey has just begun. Because after recognizing the chaos, the real challenge begins. Number 2, face yourself, rule the inner beast. No man is free who is not master of himself, Epictetus said. And he was right. You can have money, status, even power, but if you can't control your anger, your fears, or your cravings, you're still a slave. That truth hits hard because you know it's real. You've lashed out in anger and regretted your words. You've backed down in fear and missed your chance. You've chased short-term pleasures only to feel empty for weeks afterward. In those moments, you realize something important. The real threat isn't out there in the world. It's the untamed beast inside you. This beast takes many forms. When insulted, it flares up as rage, demanding you fight back. When facing risk, it shrinks into fear, pulling you away. When others succeed, it turns into envy, eating away at your confidence. This beast never really sleeps. It waits quietly for the moment you drop your guard. The frightening part is that most of us don't realize it's in control. You can sit in a tidy room with a well-structured plan and clear goals. But with just one emotional trigger, all that order collapses. And why? Because you never learn to manage what's happening inside. The Stoics had a name for these wild emotions, passions, but they didn't see them as essential to human nature. They believed these feelings came from flawed judgment. An insult on its own is powerless. It only sparks anger when you decide, "They're humiliating me." A risk at work isn't terrifying until you tell yourself, "If I fail, I lose everything." Marcus Aurelius put it best: if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Freedom doesn't come from fixing the world around you. It begins with learning to control your reaction to it. Picture yourself in a crucial meeting. Things are going well until a colleague harshly criticizes your idea. Before reason can catch up, the beast inside roars. Your face turns red, your voice rises, and sharp words spill out. Maybe you win the argument, but later you lose something greater. Trust is broken, relationships strain. That colleague didn't destroy your progress. Your unchecked impulse did. I once worked with a brilliant man. But every time something went wrong, even slightly, he exploded in anger and blamed others. Eventually, no one wanted to work with him. He believed his temper was just part of who he was, that it was in his nature. But then he discovered Stoicism and decided to try something different. Instead of reacting right away, he paused. Just a few seconds, just enough to ask himself, "Is this within my control?" That brief moment gave his rational mind a chance to step in. Over time, that pause changed everything. He didn't lose his emotions. He learned how to guide them. That's what the Stoics called apatheia. It's not about being numb. It's about being free from the grip of extreme emotions. The Stoic doesn't run from feelings, but they don't let them take the wheel either. Emotions become tools, not chains. And that takes training. You have to practice pausing before you react. Learn to see a situation from more than one angle. Write down your fears or bursts of anger so you can examine them clearly instead of letting them quietly poison your mind. You can prepare for hardships in advance using a technique the Stoics called premeditatio malorum. This way, when challenges arrive, you're ready. You can also try the view from above method. Imagine seeing yourself from high above, realizing how small that harsh comment or awkward moment really is. These exercises are like threads. One by one, they restrain the beast until it can no longer drag you around. The beast inside you isn't your enemy. It's pure strength. A trained lion can protect you, walk with you, and give you power. But a wild one will destroy everything in its path. Your emotions are the same. If you don't learn to manage them, they'll tear your life apart. But if you train them, they'll help you go further than you ever imagined. So if you think organizing your schedule or decluttering your workspace is enough to create order in your life, think again. You can make all the beautiful plans you want, but one burst of anger, one wave of fear, or one impulsive craving can undo it all. True order starts on the inside. When you gain control of yourself, nothing outside can truly shake you. That leaves you with one question. Are you training the beast in your chest, or are you letting it lead you? Think carefully, because only when you truly master yourself are you ready for the next chapter. That's when you can take off the mask society gave you and start living by your own inner code. That's where real freedom begins. Number 3. Drop the mask, live by principle. You walk into a crowded room. Laughter, glances, polite nods. Everyone seems to be playing a part in some invisible play. Someone laughs loudly while feeling heavy inside. Another nods in agreement just to avoid trouble. And maybe you've done the same. A quiet voice inside asks, "Do I really want this? Or am I just putting on a show?" That's when it hits you. Wearing a mask might help you fit in, but it robs you of your peace. What happens when the outside no longer matches the inside? The Stoics believed that chaos doesn't just come from a busy schedule or emotional turmoil. It also comes from something deeper, the moment you betray your own values. When you say yes while every part of you wants to say no. When you smile even though your heart is sinking. When you try to impress others instead of quietly doing what's right. Every time that happens, you lose a piece of your integrity, the alignment between what you think, what you say, and what you do. And when that alignment breaks, your sense of freedom disappears with it. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That one simple sentence captures what integrity truly means. If you look closely, there are subtle signs that you're living behind a mask. You agree just to keep the peace, even when everything inside you disagrees. You avoid conflict by saying things you don't believe. You feel drained after social events, not because of the people, but because you were pretending the entire time. You're constantly busy, but strangely empty. That's often a sign that your efforts are aimed at pleasing others, not staying true to your own principles. These are quiet signals of inner chaos. I once knew a woman who looked successful in every way. At work, she always showed up polished and energetic, with a perfect smile and the right words. But when she returned to her apartment at night, she was exhausted. She told me there were weekends when she just wanted to stay in, but she kept accepting invitations out of fear that her friends would think she was distant. In relationships, she said yes to dates she didn't really want, just to avoid the label of being alone. And so her life became a loop, carefully designed to please others, but slowly drifting away from who she really was. Over time, she realized that her biggest source of stress wasn't her job or unexpected challenges. It was the quiet, daily habit of not living in alignment with her own truth. The Stoics didn't tell you to flip your life overnight. They believed in small, steady steps that are doable right now. One evening, you can try writing down a simple question. What did I do today that went against my values? When someone invites you to something, pause for a few seconds. Take a deep breath. Then ask yourself, am I saying yes because I want to, or because I'm afraid of being judged? And when you see the answer clearly, try one small act of honesty. Say no in a low-pressure moment, just to feel what it's like to live truthfully. These small steps, repeated day after day, build a life rooted in integrity. Living behind a mask is like walking around in heavy armor. It might make you feel protected. It might make you look strong, but it wears you down. It slows you down, and it keeps you from ever feeling truly free. Only when you take it off can you breathe fully, move lightly, and live in your own skin. Integrity isn't about grand acts of bravery. It's the quiet power of choosing to live by your values, one decision at a time. And don't forget this: if you keep living behind a mask, your whole life will end up revolving around something that isn't real. When life eventually throws you a challenge, the mask will fall away. What's left will be the uncomfortable truth that you spent too long living for others and not for yourself. No one else can take responsibility for the life you truly want to live. Getting your life in order isn't just about managing your calendar or cleaning your home. It's about stripping away false layers and bringing your inner world into harmony with your outer one. Because only when your actions reflect your principles will you find both clarity and freedom. So here's the question for you today. What mask are you wearing, and are you ready to take it off? Number 4. Discipline brings freedom. We often think freedom means doing whatever we want. Eat when we feel like it, sleep when we're tired, say whatever comes to mind, act on impulse. But that version of freedom can quickly turn into a kind of invisible prison. Habits start to control us. Desires control us. Fleeting emotions control us. And soon we realize we are no longer in charge of ourselves. If freedom truly means doing anything we want, why do so many people feel trapped in their own lack of restraint? The Stoics saw it differently. They believed chaos and a lack of freedom don't come from outside forces. They come from within, when we let laziness, anger, or cravings overrule our reason. Discipline, often misunderstood and even feared, is actually the foundation of a free life. Freedom isn't the power to indulge every urge. It's the ability to choose deliberately, guided by principles. Indulgence is slavery to instinct. Discipline is the strength of a free mind. You snooze your alarm 5 times in the morning, then spend the rest of the day scrambling, always behind. You eat out of emotion, then regret how sluggish and heavy you feel. You promise to start that important project, but keep putting it off until the deadline looms. You snap in anger and say something that damages a relationship, then sit there wishing you could take it back. Each of these moments is a quiet reminder. You've mistaken indulgence for freedom, and the cost is disorder. I once knew a guy who believed that living comfortably was the same as living happily. After work, he'd scroll for hours, telling himself, "I deserve to relax." On weekends, he'd shop to fill the emptiness. He stopped exercising, saying, "I'm free to take a break whenever I want." But the more freedom he gave himself, the more drained he became. His work stalled, opportunities slipped away, his health declined, he got sick more often. Mentally, he was constantly exhausted. One day he realized that the freedom he was chasing had made him a slave to short-term comfort and bad habits. And that's when the Stoic philosophy finally clicked for him. No one is truly free unless they can govern themselves. The Stoics weren't preaching self-punishment. They taught that discipline is built through small, steady steps. You could start with something as simple as getting up on time, just 15 minutes earlier than usual. In the morning, instead of scrolling through your phone, take 5 minutes to write down the single most important task for the day and commit to finishing it. When you feel the urge to procrastinate, pause for 3 seconds, breathe, and ask yourself, is this choice taking me closer to the person I want to become, or pulling me further away? And when a sudden craving strikes, a sugary snack, one more video before bed, imagine the real cost: weakened health, wasted time, and a scattered mind. That's how the Stoics built discipline. Not through punishment, but through awareness. Discipline is like a solid stone path beneath your feet. At first, it may feel rigid, even uncomfortable. You have to focus to stay balanced, But the more you walk it, the more it carries you forward, safely, steadily. Indulgence, on the other hand, is like sinking sand, soft and pleasant at first, but the further you go, the harder it is to escape. If you live without discipline, your life will be shaped by urges and circumstances, not by you. When crises hit, illness, job loss, or personal setbacks, the lack of a strong foundation will show. You'll feel powerless. But if you've built discipline into your daily life, you'll have the strength to stand firm, no matter what storms come. No one else can do that for you. Only you live your life, and only you can take responsibility for it. This marks the fourth step in your journey to reclaim your life. And it's a turning point, the moment you realize that discipline isn't a cage. It's the key to freedom. Before moving forward, pause and ask yourself, am I truly in control of myself, or just reacting to habits and emotions? If this chapter sparked something in you, drop a comment. Discipline over comfort. Your small act of sharing might just be the reminder someone else needs that real freedom isn't found in giving in, but in rising up to train ourselves, one choice at a time. Number 5, control what you can, let go of the rest. Imagine you're rowing a boat in the open sea. The waves crash, the wind lashes, and suddenly the sky opens up with rain. In that moment, you have two choices. You can either waste your strength screaming at the wind, cursing the storm, or you can focus on the one thing you truly control, the rhythm of your oars. Many of us live like we're trying to command the sky. We stress, burn out, and exhaust ourselves trying to control what was never ours to begin with. And in doing so, we forget a simple truth. It's our steady grip on the oars, not our resistance to the wind, that carries us forward. Look at your daily life, and you'll see countless moments where you fall into that trap. You feel anxious when someone doesn't reply to your message, as if you could control their heartbeat or their thumbs. You rage in traffic, yelling inside your car, while the line of vehicles inches forward at its own stubborn pace. You lose sleep waiting for the results of an exam or interview, convincing yourself that worrying will somehow change the outcome. All these emotions have one thing in common. We pour our energy into what lies outside our control. The Stoics saw this clearly thousands of years ago. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us and some are not. Some things are ours, like our thoughts, our actions, our responses. Others are not, like the weather, illness, or other people's opinions." Chaos begins when we confuse the two, and only when we dare to draw a clear line between them can we begin to find peace within. I think of a young woman named Anne. She worked at a media company and lived in constant fear of what her colleagues and boss thought of her. Every email she sent, she read over dozens of times, obsessing over how it might be misunderstood. In meetings, instead of focusing on her ideas, she watched people's faces, trying to guess their approval. The more she tried to control others' perceptions, the more anxious she became. Her focus slipped. Mistakes crept in. Eventually, her fear cost her confidence and effectiveness. She thought she was being proactive, but really she had handed over her freedom to things beyond her reach. If you see yourself in Anne's story, the Stoics would suggest starting small with something tangible. When you feel anxious, sit down and write on paper, "Is this within my control?" Just seeing the words helps you realize how much of your stress is about things that don't belong to you. When you're angry at someone's behavior, pause for 10 seconds before reacting. In those 10 seconds, remind yourself, I can't control them, but I can control what I say and do. And when you feel restless waiting for a result, imagine the worst outcome, then ask, if that happens, can I still move forward? Facing the fear shrinks its power. Because building a meaningful life isn't about holding on tighter, it's about choosing your battles wisely. Hold on to what's in your hands. Let go of what isn't. Like a rower who keeps their eyes on the oars and adjusts their course, instead of shouting at the waves. Picture holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But if you ease your grip, it rests calmly in your palm. Life is the same. The more you try to force control over the uncontrollable, the more peace you lose. But when you learn to release your grip, you end up holding on to what truly matters. Here's the danger. If you never learn to tell the difference between what's yours to shape and what isn't, your life will be ruled by anxiety and frustration. You'll spend your days chasing what can't be caught. And when things fall apart, your helplessness will be laid bare. But if you train yourself to make that distinction again and again, your mind will grow lighter, your decisions sharper, and a quiet sense of order will begin to settle in. Number 6. Live in harmony with nature. I once knew a man whom society saw as a success. He had a solid career, a high income, and a stable position. But when he sat alone, all he could feel was a vast emptiness inside. For years, he poured all his energy into climbing higher, earning more, and collecting luxuries. In the process, he drifted away from his family, lost touch with old friends, and neglected his health. By the time he reached the position he once dreamed of, he realized he had traded away connection, peace, and meaning. It wasn't until he returned to the simple things, spending time with his children, having honest conversations with friends, and using reason to balance work with life, that he discovered something profound. Peace doesn't come from accumulation. It comes from living in harmony with our human nature. The Stoics called this living according to nature. It doesn't mean abandoning the city for the mountains. It means living true to what it means to be human. We are born with reason to discern right from wrong and choose the good. We are social beings meant to connect and contribute. We carry a responsibility not just to ourselves, but to our communities. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." The same holds true for us. If something harms the whole, it cannot truly benefit the individual. You can often tell when someone is living against their nature. It shows when a person chases selfish desires while ignoring their responsibilities. When they believe happiness lies in rising above everyone else rather than rising with them. When reason is overpowered by emotion, it leads to poor decisions. These are signs of a life out of rhythm, a life disconnected from its natural foundation. If you recognize these signs in yourself, the Stoics suggest starting with simple practices. Each morning, step outside. Observe the sky, the trees, and the people moving around you. This isn't a luxury. It's a reminder that you are part of the same order as everything around you. When faced with a choice, ask yourself, does this align with the nature of a rational and responsible human being? Practice pausing for just a few seconds before each major decision, reminding yourself that your actions ripple beyond just you. These small steps, repeated daily, can gently bring you back to your natural rhythm. Imagine a person as a branch on a tree. If the branch refuses the sap flowing from the trunk, it withers. But if it accepts that it belongs to the tree, it thrives, growing, stretching, offering shade. The same is true for us. Only when we live according to our nature, with reason, connection, and responsibility, can we truly grow and offer value to others. You might achieve a lot while living against nature, but the emptiness will remain. When hardships strike, the fragility of a disconnected life will be exposed. But when you learn to live in harmony, you build on solid ground, clear reason, deep relationships, and a sense of purpose that reaches beyond yourself. Remember, organizing your life isn't just about managing your time or workload. It's about organizing yourself to live in alignment with your true nature. Number 7. Wholeness through virtue and order. There's a strange moment that arrives at the end of a long journey. You stop seeing the path as scattered steps and start seeing it as a complete picture. Like a puzzle finally coming together, what once felt disconnected now fits into a larger, harmonious whole. Life is like that too. Every disciplined step you've taken, every time you forced yourself to face the chaos, every moment of courage when you dropped the mask, none of it was just about staying organized. All of it was guiding you toward one thing: a life grounded in virtue and inner order. And then comes the question, what does it mean to live a complete life? People often define happiness by obvious markers: a big house, a fat bank account, the praise of others. But you know deep down, those things are like city lights at night, dazzling, but gone by dawn. The Stoics understood this a long time ago. True happiness, or eudaimonia, doesn't come from the outside. It only arises when your life is whole, when what you think, say, and do move in unison. You can have all the success the world admires, yet feel restless when you're alone. You can sit in a beautiful home and feel empty. You can receive endless applause, but still feel isolated when the noise fades. That isn't a complete life. That's a performance that never reached your soul. I remember someone who turned to Stoic philosophy at a time when he seemingly had everything: wealth, status, recognition. But he admitted he had never felt at peace. Every achievement was just a gust of wind, followed quickly by new anxiety. It wasn't until he began practicing something simple, writing each morning, "How can I live with more virtue today?" that he began to feel stillness. Each evening, he would reflect and ask himself, "Was I honest with my principles?" And then he'd write one guiding sentence to live by: "Let every action I take reflect a just and upright soul." His life didn't change overnight, but slowly those scattered pieces began to flow into a calm, steady stream. You can start the same way. Small questions, small commitments, repeated daily. That's how integrity grows. Don't dismiss them as minor. They're the notes that shape your symphony. And without them, your life will always be missing a vital melody. A piece of music only becomes a masterpiece when every note is in place. One wrong note, and everything feels off. Your life is no different. Virtue and order aren't optional details. They're the foundation that lets everything else align. When you live with integrity, there's nothing left to prove. Your peace speaks for itself. And here's the final reminder. If you focus only on organizing your external world, but neglect your inner virtues, You might have a clean room, a neat schedule, a stable job, but something will still feel off. And when hardship hits, that surface-level structure won't be enough to keep you grounded. So remember, the real goal of organizing your life isn't to appear more put together than others. It's to become whole, to live with virtue, to live in order, and from that, to build a happiness that lasts. Which brings me to one final question for you. Are you ready to turn your life into a harmonious piece of music, where every small act and every choice beats in rhythm with virtue? If your answer is yes, then you've already touched the wholeness the Stoics called by one powerful word, eudaimonia. This lesson marks the final stop in today's journey. From beginning to end, you may have come to realize a simple but powerful truth. The chaos out there was never the real problem. What truly exhausts us is the lack of order within. And when you find the courage to face it, to begin organizing your life through the lens of Stoic wisdom, to confront the chaos, acknowledge the darkness, remove the mask, cultivate discipline, set priorities, seek harmony, and ultimately live with virtue, you don't just become more organized. You begin to come home to yourself. Maybe right now, your life feels overwhelming. Work is piling up. Relationships are tangled. The nights are long and restless. But remember this, you are not powerless. All it takes is one small step, aligned with the right principle, and then another. That's how you begin to rebuild the foundation of peace and inner strength. And only you can do that. If this video brought you value, consider hitting the like button. It's just one small click, but it helps the video reach others who are also searching for peace and strength to take back control of their lives. You're not just supporting the channel, you're planting a seed that might grow in someone else's mind and heart. And if you want to keep walking this path together, make sure to subscribe. That way, you won't miss what comes next, and we'll continue moving forward, step by step, on this journey to build a life of order, freedom, and meaning.